Hey everyone, before we dive right into the action, I wanted to let you know that I stream these things on Twitch, and if you wanna hang out with me while I'm live, you can follow the channel, will be the first link in the description. Alright, we're getting the white pieces and gonna be going for the King's Indian attack. And gonna be setting up the fianchetto. Opponent looks like he's playing with e6, so this is definitely, at least for now, looks to be more of like a normal setup. And you know, okay, nevertheless, we see the knight on c6. So we're entering the like sideline territory once again. So we're just gonna be castling short. So opponent does something a little bit strange. So he first plays e6 and then decides to go for e5. And we could definitely try to go like super aggressive, maybe d4 knight e5, maybe c4, just try to punish that. But I think we're just gonna be playing the normal lines, and you know, we're like up a tempo compared to what you see normally. So this can't really be a bad move. And I think by playing this way, we also keep standard positions, which is basically the main goal for this series. And on bishop g4, could start with h3. I think that's like nice to include, because otherwise he might just do queen d7, bishop h3. So this feels pretty nice, and especially when they take, I think, well, I could take with a bishop. Taking the pawn is generally doable, kind of interesting, but not best, I would say. Taking with the knight seems to be most natural here. Thing is, I could take with a bishop, and that's attacking the d5 pawn. I'll have to like drop the bishop to g2 regardless. So at this point, I have a choice between, I think, two equal moves, like either knight takes or bishop takes. I think I'm just gonna take with a bishop, hitting the pawn and maybe having ideas to play with c4. Although I would actually really prefer to go like e4, because that's more typical for the King's Indian attack, even though we could play in like the English fashion with c4, which perhaps is better. I really want to get in this e4 move, just keeping it as thematic as we can. So against f5, could do c4. e4, the only thing that I'm like really a bit afraid of is d takes followed by f4, which is like a typical idea, but I think even in that position we could play knight c4 and we're doing quite well because he's lacking the light squared bishop. So just gonna be going e4. That's like usually the typical reaction where opponent is trying to like set up a massive center like this with all the pawns and just trying to break through. So when they take this way, we're like pretty happy. And by the way, I would say this is like a super underrated reaction that most of the players have no idea about. And instead they go for this more like typical pawn takes, and then they go d4, which is actually not that good, because we can get the knight to c4 and then just push f4. So with his pawn on f4, there was like no f4 for us, and it would have been definitely way trickier to create any play here, basically. So if you want to play for the trap, assuming he's gonna long castle, you could go bishop f3. But something that's actually bothering me a bit is this b5 move. So for that reason, I think I'm just gonna play a4, just securing the knight and potentially also keeping ideas to advance the pawn even further. And now I could play f4. Feels a bit loose though, not sure I really want to commit with that. I would perhaps prefer something that's a bit more solid, even though f4 is kind of principled. Yeah, I think I like f4, even though feels a bit loose. I think it's actually the right move. And after f4, we'll have like an interesting idea to sacrifice the pawn with b4. Because let's say bishop takes, then maybe we could take on e5. Maybe that's actually not a good version for us, but it's just something that briefly crossed my mind. And when they take, I would say we're generally very happy as long as there's no like immediate way for black to take advantage of this. So if we can get these good pawns, it's generally like pretty nice for us. And mainly because we could push e5, grab the center, go a5, a6, lengthening the diagonal of the bishop, and Black's position just seems a bit cramped. If I go e5, he goes there. I could go king h2, a bit prophylactic. He's definitely preparing this g5 move, I would say, with his last h6 move. So, not like super sure how to proceed, because kind of want to play e5, but then bishop c5 will sort of force me to move the king. He goes g5. I guess that's okay. Get some counterplay with d3 that I would have liked to avoid. But yeah, I think just gonna keep principled. e5 and then king h2. Sidestepping this diagonal. I guess he'll play g5. And then yeah, I think we'll probably have to take twice and just play that position. It definitely feels a bit scary for me. I would love to play like f5, but I'm afraid he can simply take with a knight, and I don't see how to follow that one up. Could also like try to ignore his move for now, but still I'm not sure if like it's like the right call. I think at this point it might be a clever decision to trade queens off, because we're about to run under an attack. So by trading queens, we're making sure that we're not getting mated, and we're still keeping the bishop pair, which is quite an important asset in this type of positions. So considering e6, but then he simply goes queen e8, so that's no bueno. And I think I'm just gonna be taking here. Could also like really force the trade if I want to, but I guess bishop takes is fine. Overprotecting e5, recapturing. If knight g6, bishop back to g3, I think looks good. In case he plays like rook f8, maybe same bishop g3 idea. Also, I have something like bishop e4 to centralize, so he goes for d3, which is actually interesting. I think c3 could be a clever move, with the idea that I'm trying to limit his counterplay and basically control these squares, and potentially could try to grab that pawn. Now knight d5 is actually a pretty good question if he plays it. Not sure how to react against it, to be honest. On h5, I think we can like at the very least sidestep. Probably that's also best, because otherwise my king has some safety issues because this square is taken. And okay, after h4 that doesn't really bother me. You can go rook d1, and on h3 there's simply bishop e4, centralizing all the pieces, and we get to win the d3 pawn. I think that works. Might have missed like a stronger move, bishop h3. Still he has knight e7, and I don't think we get to win the piece, but was definitely a candidate. When I played this, I was expecting knight g3, and I thought we could simply take twice and we get to win 2 pawns, and should be a relatively easy conversion from now on, because mainly on rook g8 there seems to be a g6 move, just keeping everything defended. And you see how nicely the c4 knight is placed thanks to the a4 pawn. There's never like any b5 kind of ideas to get rid of it, and knight's protecting e5, controlling d2 square, super active knight, and having just a huge threat of collecting the d3 pawn with my rook next. So against that, maybe it's a thing. I'm not sure if like actually works, but at the very least we're gonna have a position where I'm having an extra pawn in the opposite color bishop endgame. So could go bishop f5, rook e1, rook e8, king f4, rook e5, rook e5, rook e8, rook e1, d2. That's kind of problematic, so I think I'm just gonna do the practical decision and simply allow him to take, and I'll just try to win this endgame with the extra pawn. I think should be a good decision for him to try to keep rook somehow, even though I think I should still be kind of winning. After the rook trade, I think we get like an easier conversion, because it's basically not gonna require that much calculation. But even though after something like this, I think we have rook f7 and we're like pretty safe. Ideas to double up. Rook g8 could also start with g6, and maybe could do rook h3, forcing a pair of rooks off. And after the rook trade, Should be pretty easy. Okay, this is like a good idea. He's going for the active defense. Can give credits to him for that, but I think maybe rook g1 is precise. Although he like gets to win the b2 pawn. So I think we start this way, hitting the bishop, and then we decide. I think maybe he plays like bishop g7, but could potentially go like king g6. Against that, I think the pawn is now actually maybe a bit too fast, because it gets like all the way to g7 and he won't be able to like sacrifice the bishop, which was like the main defensive idea. So now if he has to give up the rook for the pawn, it's definitely an easy win. I think we'd go king e6 with the idea that on bishop e5 there is checkmate, and on rook e5 check there is simply king f6. Okay, rook h6, but now can simply go king f7, threatening to push, and yeah, simply unpinning. King d7, I think we can push, I think can throw in this check. I think pushing is like simplest, and there's like no way for him to actually stab the pawn. Like rook h7 can just take it, and other than that, this is coming on the next move, pretty much against whatever he plays. On rook e6 there's like a nice bishop f5 to end the game, even though queening is also fine. Yeah, just you know, good queen. He gives like a little bit of checking, but this is just even nicer, collecting the rook and queening on the very next move. So this move just forces resignation, and we managed to get this one in. All right, that was actually much trickier game than it looked. Well, opponent played first of all incredibly fast, and also like pretty good. I think if I don't play queen g4 in that position, it becomes like quite dangerous. I think I did like the practical decision. Like if you do like this, can be a disaster. Would have been straight up lost for me. That was the least safe you've seen my king. I mean, myself included. Honestly, I have a super safe king in general. It's just that here it was, the position basically required me to have an open king, because I'm supposed to do this f4 move. Okay, I mean, generally speaking, maybe you could do something else, but this is usually like your pawn break. And yeah, like ideally I would like to do something like this and have a tactic to like pin his queen somewhere like this, but that was like not a thing. So simply had to get rid of the queens, and feel like the endgame was good. Okay, c3 was interesting move, apparently not best. cd was also fine. Yeah, here bishop h3 was winning on the spot. I actually seen that right after I played it. Okay, b4 wins, trapping the bishop. Yes. But okay, I mean, I hope that the like opposite colored bishop endgame was somewhat installed. So here important, like I calculated this line. So I calculated check, king b8, rook e1, rook e8, king f4. So I've seen this during the game. And if I try to keep, he has d2, which was a bit annoying. But apparently I can just play rook d3, and this is like winning position. If this... Wait, what? Watch this. So computer likes this, and apparently we can queen, but okay, no need to go this crazy. I think what we did was just easier. And I think this is like a technical win. King f5 was important because if I play like g6, there is rook b2, and gonna win this pawn, sacrifice the bishop for the g pawn, and then it's like not simple at all. Thanks a lot for making it this far into the video, and in case you're looking for more episodes from the same series, make sure to click one of the videos that will appear on the screen. So with that being said, I'd like to thank you for watching, and I'll see you around on the channel. Take care.